Hey guys, how's it going? Long time no see. First and foremost, I gotta thank each and every single one of you guys who watched, commented, and liked my last video, which was the review of the Dragon Wheels. Didn't think anyone was gonna watch that video, to be honest. And I think it's up to 7,000 or 8,000 views now with a couple hundred comments. And yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It's really great to, be able to talk about this kind of stuff with all you guys. Anyway, in my last video, if you didn't watch it, I had a little bit of a request, and this is what it was.
Bones, 95A, version 5.
Yeah, so it looks like my request kind of went through. Instead of making a 95A, they made a 97A. All right, a little bit harder, but in the version 5 shape, which is it's my favorite shape of all the wheels. So this is my review of the X Formula wheels by Bones. I'm going to start this review by saying that this is going to be more of a comparison video between the Dragon Formula and the X Formula. Only reason why is because I've been riding the Dragons for over half a year now. So moving up to the X Formula was quite a big change, and mostly for the good. Let's start with point number 1. Now with the Dragons, they were a 93A, extremely soft. With the 97s, they were noticeably harder than the Dragons, and that's expected because going from 93 to 97 is quite a big leap. With that being said, all the feedback that you're used to from a harder wheel are back with the X formulas, including power sliding, you get the bark. Right? The bark is back. Power slides, reverts, you get that skirt. You get the bark, right? And that's what I really missed when I was on the Dragons, because the Dragons were super quiet all the time. Because, especially I've been skating for so long and I'm so used to hearing that bark that when it was gone, it was a little bit disorienting. So yeah, it was a very welcome sound to get back. All right, so let's talk about grinds. With the Dragons, there was a big issue, and I think everyone had talked about it, was that when you're grinding on coping or any kind of ledge with metal on it, you'd get this squeak, and it was almost sticky. If you're going fast enough, you probably didn't notice it, or if it was really, really waxed, you wouldn't notice it. But for example, when I did crooked grinds with the Dragons, no matter what kind of coping I was, there would always be this squeak. It definitely made it a little bit slower. Every time you lock into something, even a 50-50, it just felt like you were sticking on the coping with the Dragons. My only request, my only hope for the X formulas was that I wouldn't stick on coping anymore. And I did. They felt great and noticeably faster on coping than the Dragons. And I guess this has nothing to do with the durometer of the wheel, but because the X formulas that I got, the version 5s, they're side cut. So they do lock in a little bit better than the version 1 Dragons that I had. So if you take a look at the comparison of the two, it's pretty different. And my third point, which is the biggest difference between the Dragons and the X formulas, is that, guys, the X formulas do not chip. All right, check it out. I've been skating them for about a month now, and they are still in great condition. No chips, no nothing. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, overall, I love these wheels. I'm gonna stick with them. I don't think I can ever go back to the Dragons. Maybe if I'm skating a really crusty spot. I did skate a really crusty spot the other day, and it required the Dragons. The Dragons are great if you're skating something that is super, super rough, but because I really only skate on really smooth ground or skate park ground, so the 97As felt a lot more like the STFs, but just a tad bit softer. So they are easier on my knees, easier on my feet. If you are on Dragons right now and you love them, I do not recommend the X formulas, only because they are noticeably harder. Like, the difference is pretty big. So if you like the feel of a softer wheel, the X formulas are not for you. Now, if you're moving from the STFs or a Formula 4 wheel and you wanted something just a tad bit softer because maybe your feet are hurting or you're skating a crustier spot, then yeah, the 97s, the X formulas will feel great too, because they more or less feel the same as a hard wheel, just slightly softer. I definitely recommend the X formulas for people who like the feel of a harder wheel but need a little bit of a softer landing or just a little bit of a smoother ride. It's something that you should all check out. It's great. And if you've never skated a version 5 wheel, now's the time to try it, because honestly they lock in and they flip just fine. All my flip tricks, there's no issue. But yeah, that's my review if you have any questions or anything else that you want to talk about, leave a comment and I'll do my best to reply to every one of you guys. Yeah, go out and skate and buy more stuff and keep the industry alive. Okay, bye guys.